Hello, hello. We are back. We are live. How's it going? How's it going? We are back in the library. It is Monday, so that means we are in watch alongs. How's everybody's weekend gone? I know if you're in the southern United States, you just went through a pretty cold snap coming through. I know we got quite a bit of snow out here. Kind of put everything in a little bit of a still of a snow blanket where we're at. Shut down a lot of events. I know there's school cancellations today and tomorrow. And we're already getting a lot of places that are closing up shop and saying businesses aren't going to be open, things like that. So, and we're under a cold weather advisory. So this has been kind of interesting. We had a very warm winter up until now, and then all of a sudden kicked into this cold snap. We did a special stream on Saturday. We normally reserve our watch alongs for Monday nights, but we decided to jump in and do a stream on Saturday since it was so cold, and figured that we would kick it off with something a little different, give some entertainment this weekend. If you wanted to join us, we learned about juvenile delinquents and a date with your family. But we saved some stuff back. We have a couple watch alongs for tonight. And then we'll be back into the rest of the schedule for the week after tonight. So we'll jump in here in a minute. We've got a really good watch along for tonight, and we got two really good ones. One that kind of reminds us of, it seemed like a video that was made for aliens, so that way they would fit in. It didn't seem like it was meant for people just randomly to jump in there. So we're going to get into this and get going. So we're going to kick off. We're kicking off our stream with how to be well groomed. Let's kick the library lights off and get into it.
Well, Sue, where are you?
In my room, Don.
Joe called. He said he'd be a little late. Say, do you look smooth?
Why, thank you, sir. You look mighty elegant yourself, if I may say so.
Yes, indeed. Both Don and Sue look like the kind of people you'd like to know, don't they? Of course, right now, they're dressed for their Friday dates. But don't you have the feeling that they're always well groomed?
Yes, and that's no accident.
That seems like such a weird feeling to have about somebody. They're always well groomed.
Good grooming habits. Health, posture, cleanliness, and neatness, plus a daily routine of little finishing touches. Take last night, for example. On weeknights when there are no dates, plenty of time to do little things that make for a well-groomed appearance.
Hey, sis, haven't you finished with that iron yet?
You can have it just a minute.
You know, I don't know how many high school students would be ironing their clothes on Monday
Don,
nights
what are
and
you
getting
doing
ready
in my
for school.
sewing box?
Well, there's a loose button here.
Oh, all right, I'll fix it for you. That is, if you polish my shoes.
Well, I guess
That-
it's a deal. I have to polish my own.
That's
I
kind of
might as well.
another
Oh, thanks.
big change there. How many kids are out there polishing their boot
Clothes
or their
pressed
shoes?
and mended, shoes polished. These are a few of the habits with which Don and Sue keep neat. And neatness is one of the fundamentals of grooming. So here's part of your big question: how do I look? Are my clothes neat and clean? Whether you do your own or achieve it by cooperative efforts, keep your clothes looking neat and clean.
And cleanliness and neatness apply to you as well as to your clothes. So after a cleansing, relaxing bath, that's a good daily habit, Sue has a regular routine.
I don't. How many people actually take
and
baths
plan
anymore?
time too for the finishing
But I would
touches.
imagine that baths are
Doing
probably a
your
lot more
nails,
prevalent then than they
brushing your
were
hair, hair. And
now
so
because
on.
I don't think there was as many showers.
Sue avoids red nail polish since it would call attention to her stubby hands. A clear polish keeps her nails sparkling.
Sue avoids red nail
Sweet.
polish to
Sue
avoid
gives herself
drawing
a
attention to those
complete
stubby,
manicure.
stubby hands of
And
hers.
daily care of her nails is easy. In the same way, regular shampoos and daily brushing keep her hair clean and glossy. And these finishing touches that add so much to Sue's cleanliness and neatness all fit into a simple schedule of daily activities. And now for at least 8 hours of sleep. Good health is
Okay,
a
that's
rule.
a good
For
habit
health
to
is
have,
one
of
of the
getting 8 hours of sleep. I
foundations
know
of your
I'm
appearance.
notorious for not getting 8 hours at nighttime. I know a lot of us don't do that, so that still is a good habit to have, getting a good 8 hours of sleep. And she's waking up at 7, so I mean, it'd be going to bed at 11 p.m. Are they in the same room?
Leave some hot water for me. And hurry, I'll have to shave.
All right, Don.
What to wear? The weather has something to do with your choice of clothes. But Don also thinks of other things. Most of his clothes are clean and pressed, so he's not as limited in selection. How about these slacks and this shirt? What do you think? How will Don look in this combination?
Let's hope he'll pay a little attention to
That is a
patterns and
wild
colors.
shirt. Absolutely wild.
How about this combination?
That's better. Now a tie to go with the outfit, and Don's all set.
Okay, throwing on a tie to go to school, slacks, a nice shirt. I mean, there is something to be said about that professional look, getting ready to go into
Don
the
is putting
workforce,
one
that kind
more
of thing.
finishing touch to
That's
his appearance. A
definitely not
well-matched
something you would see
outfit of
today.
clothes. How will he look?
Good enough in that outfit.
And now another little habit of cleanliness.
I guess you would
and
see it
neatness.
like
Dirt under your fingernails must
schools
be
with
cleaned every
uniforms.
day, and it's better in private.
All right, Don, you're next.
Now for a cleansing morning shower.
Oh, never mind. They have
Meanwhile,
showers then.
Sue gives thought to the
Just
day.
Sue was taking baths,
What
he's
will
taking a
she
shower.
wear? That depends on her activities, of course. For school, choose comfortable, not too dressy clothes. Perhaps a skirt.
Not
and
too
a blouse
dressy
to
while
go
he's
with
still
it.
wearing a tie.
But what about these two blouses? Which is more appropriate for school? Which goes with the skirt?
Fellows like to see girls dress up, but in general only for a special occasion.
Yes, choose clothes that are suitable to your needs.
Something the
and
fellas will
situation.
like. Isn't that
But
right,
remember
dames?
that
Pick
any
something that
clothes
catches a
look
fella's
better with
eye.
Good posture. Now that her clothes are selected, Sue is ready to fix her hair. What to do with those curls she so carefully put in last night? It doesn't matter just what hairstyle you use, as long as it looks right on you. Upswept? Loosely over the shoulders. Just be sure your hairdo suits you and that your hair is neatly in place.
Hey,
And here's something
seeing that
else for your
you're glad
appearance.
that girls don't have to set
Eat a
curls every
hearty,
night. I
balanced breakfast.
imagine that would be a
There's
pain
nothing like
in the
wholesome food to
backside
help
right
keep
there.
you in good health.
And that means a clearer complexion, shining eyes, glossy hair.
In short, that means a better appearance. Don's all set to look right at school, isn't he?
Mother, too, keeps a good appearance, even around the house, for that keeps up her spirits.
Nothing
And
like
Father
looking
dresses
nice to
according
keep your
his
spirits
way,
up and going.
relying on cleanliness and neatness. as
How
the
old is their
foundations of his
father?
appearance. So, for each individual, the finishing touches of appearance may be his or hers alone, suited to individual needs, actions, ideas.
After breakfast, Sue goes back to her room for some finishing touches. Her makeup. Her powder is one that blends with her natural coloring. She pats it on lightly, then carefully smooths it over her face.
And be careful when it comes to lipstick.
Yes, choose a shade that goes with your own coloring and sets off your clothes to advantage. Then, easy does it. Now smooth out gently and wipe off any excess to leave only a smooth film of color, following the lines of your own lips. And finally, a last-minute once-over in the mirror. Make sure your hemline is even. Don't let your slip show.
Come on, we'll be late.
Again, another thing you don't hear very
Oh,
often,
boy,
especially
at the mirror
about
again.
people going to school. How many people are wearing
Well,
a
the mirror
slip
could
to
help you
school?
check your clothes, too, and improve your posture.
Oh, trouser cuff. Thanks. And I could straighten up, couldn't I? Well, let's hurry, or we'll be late.
Cultivate such habits as cleanliness and neatness, so you'll be well groomed.
For all through the day, others are looking at you. Your mirror tells you what others see. How do you look? How does Sue look?
How does Don look?
Health, posture, cleanliness, neatness. These grooming habits form the basis of a good appearance and a well-planned outfit of clothes, well cared for hands and nails, light touches of makeup.
Again, not the red, because
A
it'll draw
becoming
attention to her
hairdo.
stubby hands. We can't have that now.
Oh, Sue, where are you?
In my room, Don.
Joe called. He said he'd be a little late.
Oh, he's wearing a...
Hey, do you look
Oh, this is for
smooth?
their
Oh,
date night. I was
thank
going to say,
you,
he's in a
sir.
full suit at this
Look
point. Is he
mighty
going to school in his
elegant
full
yourself.
suit?
Uh-oh, this is where we came in.
And this is where Don and Sue go out for a pleasant evening. Their good grooming habits help them in friendships and in business. For your success depends a
And
great
in
deal
business,
on
they're
how
in
you
high
look.
school. The end. Another cornet classic right there. Alrighty, back into the library here. Lights on, ready to go. So again, that was shown in high schools and middle schools across the country in the 50s. I think that one came out in 53. So again, there's so many changes today compared to what you were seeing back then in those times, especially in high schools and stuff across the country. But these are the kind of films that were being shown in every school, kind of pushing this. This is how you should look and how you should dress. And they were trying to kind of form an American identity with all of that and how Americans present themselves on regular occasions. So we're going to get into our next one. Our next one is kind of continuing on with that. Our next video is what it means to be an American. And to me, I think the subtext should be how to blend in if you're an alien. Because this video is just so weird. We'll jump into what it means to be an American. Frith Films present what it means to be an American.
In what way does an American enjoy a way of life that other countries do not have? Our people have certain characteristics that built this country to its modern, pleasant way of living, with its unusual opportunities for good jobs, education, and individual freedom.
And
How
again, this was
do
kind of a
Americans live?
propaganda film put out,
They live in
uh,
many types of
pushing out
communities.
to younger people,
As
kind
an
of getting that in
American,
their heads that
perhaps you
America,
live on a New
uh,
England farm,
and all the
where
great
through the
things about
years
it.
your ancestors have added many rooms to the original house. Or you live in a town like Salem, Massachusetts, that is rich in American folklore. Perhaps you live in a large city like New York.
We're getting
or
like
in
a Huey
Philadelphia,
Lewis in the
in a
News,
house of
Heart of
painted
Rock and
stone.
Roll still beating intro here. Or perhaps you live in Atlanta,
Or in
or Dallas,
Charleston, South Carolina, with its
Charleston,
historical
Miami,
harbor
Florida.
and typical
Just
colonial
throw
homes.
out all the towns right there as we
Southerners
can
are famous for their charm and gracious living.
pick up as we go along
Wherever
here.
you live in America, the ideals of your parents will be much the same. You may live near Miami, Florida,
Called it.
or you may live in our great Midwest, or
Generalized
in
city.
the West, in Colorado Springs, or Denver, or in a desert home near Tucson, Arizona, built to withstand the desert heat, or in the far west in
Okay.
California.
Again, they're kind of doing that Huey Lewis in the News, the Heart of Rock and Roll. Just list every town. Just keep pushing them.
The fact that we have so many types of land and climate tends to make us a tolerant people with many different interests and ideas. We grow the products of both hot and cold climates and are rich in natural resources like lumber, oil, and rare minerals. Thus, we are less dependent on other countries than most peoples of the world. Our country is divided into states with capitals like Helena, Montana. Here, much of the government is carried on according to the needs of that part of the country. Sacramento, California.
Are we going to say anything about... We didn't say anything about Sacramento. They just threw Sacramento out there. And Frankfort, Kentucky. We're not saying anything about these towns. Just putting them out there.
Austin, Texas.
Again, I think it's a film to actually get aliens
We are governed both
familiar
by our
with the
national
states and
government
capitals.
and by our state government, and this tends to keep us from having too strong a centralized government. Boston has many historical places dear to all Americans. While our people have great independence, we are closely united in a common, colorful history. The famous Boston Commons. Tourists from all over America visit Paul Revere's home. Every child knows the story of how the lantern was hung in the steeple of this North Church to give Paul Revere the signal to warn the colonists that the British were coming to attack. When children see this statue of Paul Revere, they like to imagine how he rode bravely through the night. A teacher has taken her class to visit the beloved church and climb up into the famous steeple. But something that is very unusual in other countries is happening in the church courtyard. Men are discussing politics and saying what they think. An everyday scene
I think that's kind of weird for a church
in many countries
common
of the
ground,
world,
isn't it?
this
For just people to
scene
just
should not
gather up
occur.
randomly and talk
The right to
politics.
speak freely is not enjoyed by all peoples of the world. Our great national parks, like Glacier Park, belong to all of us. Travelers from every state are inspired by the beauty of the mountain peaks. In America, there is a car for about every 4 people, so that many families take trips to different parts of the country.
Okay, I wonder how much that's changed. A car for every 4 people when this came out. I imagine it's much higher
Europe
now.
and the Orient, cars are great luxuries, and motor trips are not possible for the average family. An American takes for granted the freedom to come and go and to do as he pleases, a freedom that is most unusual in the world of today. Let's look in on a typical American family on a northwestern fruit farm and see how little Americans start out in life. It is Sunday, and the Kings plan to stay home and relax with their children. Terry, 7, Johnny, 4, and Paul, the baby. They make themselves comfortable around the sandpile, and everything seems happy and serene. But only for a moment. The Kings try at first to let their children work out their own problem. Terry and Johnny both want the same toy, a real fight. Mother scolds. When will these children learn to be kind and generous with each other, to give and take?
Dad steps in and takes the toy for himself.
Father comforts Johnny and tries to make Terry understand that the toy belongs to Johnny. Terry feels ashamed. He will have many growing up pains before he is an adult. From the time American children are very small, they are taught that each person should have consideration. American children are encouraged to think for themselves, to make good decisions. Even small American boys love mechanical toys. They like to find out what makes them run. Parents encourage this interest, and it's no wonder that we are a nation highly trained in mechanical skills. Paul tries again and again to make his truck run on the board. He is a small boy to be trying so hard, a typical American boy.
Again, pushing that this is the American.
Boy's cousins live on the adjoining farm, a typical American scene.
What all Americans should strive to kind of be. They're kind of pushing that idea in this, and this would be shown in earlier in school.
Brother and Ann quarrel over the potato chips. Dad says, "Stop fighting, children." Sometimes it seems as if Dad never has a chance to rest.
And again, kind of promoting that American nuclear family of the dad's kind of the disciplinarian, the mom's there as the comforting.
Even small children feel free to speak their own opinions in an American home. And so it goes. The Cars have finished dinner and are trying out the new badminton court. Dad shows them how to hold the racket.
How many people play badminton still? I think that kind of went out of fashion in the 60s. Badminton kind of had a very short life in America.
About how things should be done. Now try again, children. You'll do better next time. Mr. Carr is a typical American father and encourages his children in all their activities. Jimmy and Molly and Ann are having a lot of fun learning how the game should be played. That looks fine. Molly hits it very well. Father and Emily applaud. Now Jimmy serves. Molly hits a good one, and Jimmy misses, much to little sister's delight.
Again, this is kind of where it feels like this is a video instructing aliens how to blend into the American life. Because a lot of this stuff would have been seen or exemplified to American families at that time. And then this is just like filling them in.
Typical family situation. Ann and Molly both plan to ride.
How is that a typical thing? How many people had horses? How is that a typical American situation?
He has a date to ride with a friend. Well, as usual, Father comes to the rescue. Life is made up of many small decisions. But as we make each one, we are building the type of person we will be when we grow up. As the children grow up, many teachers take a hand in their bringing up. Patiently, they explain the lessons, teach them to think and act and meet their daily problems, to think things through by themselves.
For a lot of these kids, it probably had to be the first time they've ever seen a camera, or a recording camera in this time, like a film camera.
And the world seems discouraging, but it's all part of learning to think for yourself. to live the American way. Many problems will be met and conquered on the playground.
Just a 3-boy tussle right there in the middle of the playground. I don't even know what they're fighting for at this point. It just seems like they were just tussling just to tussle.
But now to return to the cars. Mr. Carr is inspecting the orchard. Mother and Emily go along. Father shows Emily which cherries are ripe and just how to pick them without injuring the stems. She wants to pick some herself.
So those cherries were huge. Am I wrong on that? They seem like enormous cherries.
To be interested in what other people are doing, to take part in everything that goes on around them. Father walks over to the pickers. Something is wrong. They are including inferior fruit in their boxes. Mr. Carr's fruit will be judged by a few sample boxes. This will decide the price for the carload. He explains to the men the loss he will take if second-grade fruit is included. And now a touch of America. The men argue with their boss. They don't agree. And in America, every man has the right to speak out. Mr. Carr is patient. He likes his men to feel free to make suggestions, and he wants to know if they have a better idea. Finally, the trouble is straightened out, and the men laugh as they return to their work. Mr. Carr is fair, and the men like to work.
Again, it's talking about like a small local farmer. That's something we don't see as much, especially in like fruit fields and things like that anymore. A lot of those businesses are owned by large conglomerate companies, things like that. So that's a big change. And having the cherries all picked by hand, I think, is also probably a fairly significant change.
For example, building a house. The head foreman discusses the work with Bill, the work foreman. Bill has been with the firm many years. He started at the bottom and worked up to his present position. Bill studies his plans to know how much lumber he must order. His men work hard, but there is a carefree atmosphere not found in countries controlled by a dictatorship. The head foreman knows that with Bill in charge, the work will be well done and finished on time.
So this is another thing you're kind of seeing in this. They don't make any mention of it, but they're showing
America has built such great industries.
African Americans and Caucasian Americans working together very closely, because this is also during an attempt to desegregate things like that. So they're trying to show that in these films to younger kids, so that way it kind of isn't such a shock, and that kind of can battle some of what they've been told by other people. So it just been kind of included. It's part of this whole idea that they have on here, and how to bring that into society.
In the American way of life. The work continues.
Then some child labor thrown in there, just randomly, you know, as you do.
Next to him is a plasterer. They all have a cooperative way of working. Bill and his men are a good illustration of how work is done in America. The difference in the attitude of men in a free country and one controlled by a dictatorship.
And again, you're kind of looking at this post-World War II has just been maybe 6 years removed from this.
With no fear of interference. It is hard to realize here that in some countries the people are afraid of their governments. The same freedom of speech would be true in this Pennsylvania steel plant, in this Texas oil industry, or in this South Carolina match factory. At this Long Beach Ford plant, notice the cars of the workmen. Workmen in foreign countries do not go to their jobs in cars, nor do they have such luxuries as electric stoves, washing machines, irons, radios, and television sets.
I bet that washing machine could have held every clothes in your house. That was a huge washing machine.
The opportunities provided by our state universities, such as the University of Wyoming.
That stove was also enormous. You see how many burners and different things that thing had? That could have cooked for an army.
American children have a better chance to make good because of their higher average education. The University of New Hampshire. The University of Florida. We are indeed fortunate to have a chance to learn and think for ourselves, and not to be controlled by the state every minute of our lives. We also have private colleges like Dartmouth. The universities exist to train young people for service to their communities and country. Doctors, scientists, businessmen, teachers, and engineers. In America,
Again, the degree programs would have been a lot more limited back then as well.
A historical church in Charleston, South Carolina. A Presbyterian church in Wichita, Kansas. Freedom of religion is a great privilege. St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York. In an Indian village near Gallup, New Mexico, the church is the center of the life of the people, holding a dear place in their hearts. Near Gallup, there is a street fair, and on the merry-go-round is a good example of the many types of children that make America.
So that is something that we kind of missed. They used to have these carousels for the United States in different towns, and now it's only there when the fair comes in or whatever.
All fortunate children brought up in the freedom of our country. We all want to be loyal citizens, but how can we help? Watch these young people preparing for the high school commencement exercises. What can you do in your daily life to become a person good for America? Well, I believe
This is where the
you are
propaganda
doing it
starts
now.
hitting just a little bit harder.
If you were here with these high school boys, you would know how to pitch in and help. No one is telling these boys to work. They have learned that in America, it is necessary for each person to do his part, and to do it cheerfully. To be sincerely interested in the people around.
Now that is a picnic table that will last forever. Do you see all the different cross beams and everything else? That picnic table must weigh a ton.
That we saw in the men building the house. They listen to the advice of their teacher, but each boy feels free to give his own opinion. Yes, they will tease and joke, but before the curtain rises, their work will be finished on time. Whether it's sorting papers, hauling tables into position, nailing up signs, or preparing a speech. The loudspeaker equipment must be ready for use.
Oh my Lord. Okay, look at the megaphone or the speaker system right there. Could you imagine having to drag that out?
And the young people hurry home to get ready for the big event tomorrow.
Everyone get on your suits and ties.
Notice
Oh, it's a graduation ceremony, okay.
incident. Bert's sister is graduating. His father wants information about parking the car, and Bert is sure the patrolman will help him. He always knows that he can go to the
I
police
could not
and
imagine a
help.
town that would make their police officers wear that regularly would have very many
People
police
fear their
officers.
police.
Those things had to be made straight out of
Coming
wool.
from these countries tell us that our greatest American privilege, the thing we can be most thankful for, is our freedom from fear. Bert's sister will have many decisions to make, but she is trained to make her own decisions the American way. They are serious as they enter the stage, realizing as never before that our way of life is being attacked and that its survival lies in their hands. They will meet each crisis of their lives with judgment and integrity, because behind each thought and decision lies their heritage and bringing up in the American way, at home, at school.
That's,
church,
again, we're going to bring
in
that,
various
they're going to bring it back to
activities.
like really doing
Each
some
one of us
propaganda
does his
right
job
here.
well and thinks straight. If we all work together, it becomes a mighty force.
But again, how many other towns have
A
little
force like
areas
many
like that where you
drops
can
of
do
water
outdoor
form in the clouds over the
events and
mountains.
things?
In the cold air, these fall as snowflakes and make the beautiful snowdrifts. On warm days, the snow melts and trickles down the ravines.
Oh, we lost one.
These small streams join until they become raging torrents, roaring down the mountainsides.
What?
Truly, the small drops of water,
I mean,
by uniting, have become a great force. On the west side of the divide, these rivers may flow into the Columbia River. In the same way, in the Middle West, small streams may become the Mississippi River. In the Far East, the Niagara River flows over the high cliffs to become Niagara Falls. In the same way, throughout the length and breadth of our country, each one of you doing your part at home, at school, and at play is building a force that is capable of keeping
So showing like
America safe.
kind of blending in that a little bit of propaganda with like, okay, here's some national parks, some national treasure areas.
The great feeling of sympathy, understanding, and generosity toward our fellow man that is America, and the determination to work and fight for this ideal will keep America a bulwark of freedom for the peoples in all parts of the world.
The end. All right, let's get our lights back on over here. There we go. So that was what it means to be an American, and kind of see a little bit of what they were showing. These films were, again, all showed in schools during the 50s. And we're going to keep kind of deep diving into some of these 1940s, 1950s films every Monday on these watch-alongs. But you kind of see the little blend of what they want to get out to younger people and what the expectations of younger people were, at the same time as like throwing in a little bit of things of what they want them thinking and how they kind of want them thinking about things. One of the things I did like about that was it kept saying we want kids to be free thinkers. We want them to be thinking on their own and not just reliant on what the adults are saying, or not just relying on what their other peers are saying. It was kind of a really big thing of like pushing, coming up with your own thoughts and your own ideas and your own ideals of being an American. So again, we kind of covered over a couple there, how to be well groomed and what it means to be an American. If you're interested in watching these again, we'll be uploading. They'll go up sometime this week, each individually as their own video. So if you're interested, you can come back and watch those. But it's kind of highlighting some of these 1950s, 1940s, 1930s ideas. It was only about 6 years removed from World War II when this was shown, and so it's kind of a different kind of look on what it is to be an American. And as we kind of look through this stuff going over the next several weeks as we're doing these watch-alongs, like I said, we're going to keep showing some different aspects. We have some military watch-alongs we're going to be doing. We have some other watch-alongs to be kicking off in here as well. So it's going to be a really good time kind of going through all of these, and we really enjoy showing those up. So if you enjoy them, please go through, give us a like, give us a follow on our YouTube, turn on your notifications, give us a follow on our new Mission 4938 Facebook page where we were able to post this stuff. So that way we can keep a lot of our VFW stuff that people want to hear about, just the regular VFW stuff. That's VFW 493 on Facebook. If you're interested in a lot of our other stuff, that's on Mission 493 on Facebook, including our poetry and our kind of existential dread stories. And if you know of anybody that wants to submit poetry, you can submit poetry to be on our What We Carry series. That's our weekday 8 a.m. series of poetry. We're gonna a couple that have been submitted. We're gonna go ahead and record those over the next couple days and get those scheduled either this week or next week. Have those in there, but also for our horror stories. If you know anybody that likes to write, especially write horror stories, write kind of that existential dread. We try not to go too gruesome with any of the stories, and we ask for them to be short stories because we have to read them all in one take. So if you know anybody that's writing any short stories that are horror stories, especially veterans, because that's what we try to feature if we can, we'll record those. Those come up every Saturday at 8 p.m. So if you want to listen to our slightly spooky stories, we have a couple uploaded already. You can find them under the Beneath the Wrong Colored Moon. So we have those up there. Let's jump into some other stuff tonight. Let's jump over here. We'll get into some gameplay. Let's kick the lights off here in the library and jump in. Let's go into a blitz mode. So this is the kickoff to our week here. We have we just did our watch-alongs for the week here. If you missed those, we're going to be uploading them later on this week. They'll go up as individual videos that you can watch. But we're kicking off into the week, so we have a lot of things to be excited about. I know we're in a kind of a cold snap here in Oklahoma right now. We have snow on the ground. Went from having extremely warm weather to having some cold weather. But what we have looking forward to this week is we're going to be covering a lot of other VFW stuff. We have some more poetry coming up that it's going to be Monday, every weekday at 8 a.m. Not every Monday, every weekday at 8 a.m. we have poetry up for you guys to watch and listen to if you want to follow us over on our Facebook page. Again, our Facebook page is VFW4938. You can find us pretty easily. Oh, we are dead. We are dead, dead, dead. Swing, swing. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. 1, 2. Okay, she's going to run away. Give us a chance to get over here and find some health real quick. But again, we have a lot of stuff coming up this week. We're going to be covering again. We're going to continue on with our poetry readings every weekday. You can find those at 8 a.m. You can also find out more about what we have going on our Facebook page, VFW4938, or on our Mission 4938 Facebook page. Let's go get out of here too. There we go. There we go. Got our gun back. Oh, you can't hear the gameplay. Okay, we can fix that. That is not an issue. Boop. Should be able to hear it now. Thank you again for pointing out. If you hear any technical issues, or if you have any things that you can't hear in our stuff, please let us know. We can fix it on the fly, but I can't fix it unless I know what's going on. But we're going to be getting back into our retro gaming starting Tuesday. So if you want to jump in with us to some retro gameplay, I know we've been doing Chip's Challenge recently, getting into those Gateway Computer Days. So if you want to be part of any of our retro gameplay or want to watch along with it, we have a lot of great stuff coming up with all of it. Take them all out right there. Pick that up. We got somebody else coming for us. Up and out. There we go. Switch guns. Alright, let's see here. Get as much health in as we can. Then we're going to switch over here. Grab that. Get out of here and get back into zone. There we go. Oh, gotta make another quick escape right there. So again, Mission 4938 is expanding quite a lot. We're expanding into poetry, we're expanding into some other written works, we're expanding into all kinds of different things, because all of it goes back into outlets for veterans when you're facing any kind of challenge. Having those outlets are great ways to be able to get out there, express yourself, and really kind of let out all of that stuff that can be pent up inside. And so that's what we're really trying to embrace when this whole thing of, look, it doesn't have to be gameplay. It doesn't have to be this, that, or the other thing. There's no wrong way of getting out how you feel and how to kind of deal with emotions, deal with PTSD as a veteran. There's a million ways to do it, and none of them are wrong. Oh, got clipped right there in the back. And so that's what Mission 493 is all about. It's all about all these other ways we can get out in the community and make a difference and kind of relate with other veterans and be able to have a spot where veterans, their families, and supporters can all come together and build a community that's not toxic and build a community that builds each other up. And that's what the whole goal is with this. So again, if you know anybody who wants to submit poetry, have them send it to gaming, GAMING, at VFW493.org. Same thing with short stories. Have them jump in. If you know somebody that is really good at writing stories of existential dread, if you know somebody that writes, and it doesn't mean just that. I mean, if in the future we may expand out to other short stories, other ways of expressing yourself. I know we're looking at bringing in some other veteran art. And so it's all about just trying to find those ways of giving outlets for veterans where they can feel like they fit in and belong in. Also, if you're over here and you want to buy anything in the item shop, we would encourage you to use our creator code, VFW4938. If you're in the Epic store, it works there. If you decide you want to buy the Office bundle and want to support veterans at the same time, or if you want to buy Ed and Plank and whatever that is, you can do that. Just use VFW4938 in the Fortnite item shop or use it in the Epic item store. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but it just sends a little bit of money our way that would normally go over to Epic. And you can also support us in another way. If you have an Amazon Prime and you want to watch us on Twitch, if you have an Amazon Prime, you get one free Twitch Prime sub a month. All you have to do is connect your Amazon Prime to your Twitch or create a Twitch. If you don't have a Twitch already, create a Twitch, link your Amazon Prime, and it sends $2.50 our way, and it doesn't cost you anything. So again, there's ways you can support us that way. All that money goes right back into programs. All of it goes back into supporting all the other stuff that we do and helps really continue supporting our mission in unique and special ways. And we really appreciate all that support. But again, as we're continuing to grow and build this community, there's going to be a lot of different things and a lot of places for people to fit in and kind of veterans to fit in general where they want to be at. And we really do appreciate that. And we want to continue pushing things forward in ways that are unique and special for each veteran. So again, we want to thank everyone for their support. What we'll do is, since today is mainly a day about doing the watch-alongs, I think we're going to go ahead and cut it at this point for tonight. Tomorrow we'll be back with retro gaming. If you're want to jump into some retro gaming, want to see what we're going to pull out to kind of showcase in that retro world, 80s, 90s, maybe some earlier stuff as well. Jump in tomorrow. We'll be wow, just tongue-tied completely is what we'll be. We will be live tomorrow at 9:30 Central Standard Time. And then, again, tomorrow morning, we will have another poem coming out by another veteran. So, again, we appreciate all the support. And until tomorrow, stay strong, stay true, stay Frankie. Have a good one. you.